So this is the part 3 of the Glassmorphism design that we are just working on. And in this one, what we're basically going to do is to make sure that we are able to change the background. Once we click on that toggle button that we created in the last two videos, we want to be able to change the background from light to dark and then from dark back to light, right? And then when we even refresh the page, we can still have the background that we have. So what that means is that we're going to like save the background into our browser. All right, so we're going to use local storage in this video, and JavaScript is actually going to do that for us. So let's go ahead and then do that right now. All right, if you want to be able to add that functionality to this particular script that we have in here, so that when you click on this toggle that we have in here, you should be able to like change the background and into dark and then back to light. So just like we have with the previous one we presented in here. So if you hit it here, you see it changes to dark. And if you hit that again, it changes back to light. So that's just basically what we want to add to this particular one that we're working on right here. All right. So to do that, let's go to our development environment, and I want to use JavaScript to do that. So the first thing I want to do in here, let me put a comment, and I'm going to just say dark, and I'm going to just do light. I'm going to draw here, and just basically going to be a toggle. So to do that, I want to first of all create a variable that I'm going to just call a toggle right here. So let's call that toggle, and I want to go ahead and just say document that get elements by ID, and basically we do have an ID that we've created before now that is actually called a toggle. So if we go back to our HTML, the index here, we should be able to find this particular ID right here. And that's just basically what I want to use in here. I want to grab onto that. So that's just basically what we have here. And if we have that in there, let's terminate this line. And next thing we want to do is I want to create a variable in here, and I'm going to just basically call that body, because the toggle that I want to basically implement, the dark and the light mode, is going to get put onto the body section. So let's do document dot body right here, and we'll have that in there. So the next thing I want to do right here is I want to add an event list now right here, and to do that I'm going to just do toggle. So we're going to pick this toggle variable that we have in here. All right, so I want to go ahead and paste that, and I'm going to do dot add event list now, and I'm going to just add a change right here as the type of event I want to use. So if I do change, and I'm going to just introduce a comma, then I will run an arrow function in here. So this is just basically going to be this way, and within this particular place right here, what I want to do is to make sure that I'm able to I want to create a class that I'm going to add onto this body section at a later time. So to create that class, we can do that right in here. So what I'm going to just do, and the class is actually going to be attached to the body. So I'm going to just do body, and I'm going to do dot class list, and within that place, so this is going to be a dot, guys. So this is going to be toggle, going to be put onto the toggle, and the class I want to create within that place is just basically going to be called, let's call this dark dash mode. That's just basically a class that I've just created within my JavaScript right here. All right, so we want to terminate this, and then on the next line here, we want to be able to make sure that once we are able to toggle this thing that we have in here, we want to temporarily save that. All right, so what we want to do right here is that we want to save. So if we get in here, I mean this particular place, this is the former one that we have. If we're able to toggle this background to dark right here, and then if we refresh, it should be able to stick. All right, we don't want it to change after we refresh, because the common thing that normally happens is that if you are able to change the background with JavaScript like this, and then you refresh, you're going to see that the effect is actually going to go away. It's not going to be saved to anywhere. But I want to do it in such a way that we should be able to save ours. All right, so I want to save it to our local strategy, and to do that I'm going to just do save. I just say save preferences to local storage, and if you don't know how to save any data to your local storage, you can just learn that in this video. So I'm going to use an if statement to do that. So I'm going to just do if, and within this particular place right here, let's say within the body, all have within the body is actually dark mode. We want to be sure that we are able to save that. So I'm going to just do dot class list, and what we got within that, I'm going to just say container. So let's make sure I type that correctly. This is going to be container, not really container, but we're going to just say contains. So if it was able to contain a dark mode, and so within this particular place, I'm going to just do a single quotes right here and just say doc mode. So if we're able to find that to have this particular class, what do we want to do? We can go ahead and then save it into our local strategy. And to do that, I'm going to just do local storage right here. I'm going to just do dot set item, and I'm going to save it into, I'm going to create a folder that I'm going to just basically, let's call this team, guys. I'm going to call this team, just to reflect what we're basically doing. And then after that, we're going to just go ahead and just say doc right here. So this is going to be doc, just for the doc team, right? So we have that in there. And what I want to do after this is I want to add an else part down here. So this is going to be else. And within this else part, let me just copy this, and I'm going to just like basically create the light portion of it. All right. So if you do storage right here, we'll just basically want to change this to light instead of dark. So that is it on that two lines right there. And the next thing we want to do is we'll take a look at, I think there is a mistake somewhere. All right, okay, so we need to have want to make sure that this is actually within this particular function that we have it here. All right, so we have that right there. And then the next thing we want to do is to go ahead and check for the save their team. All right, so to do that, I'm going to just say check for saved team preference. And then if we want to do that, we're going to use if statement to do that. So I'm going to just do if, and this is going to be if local storage right here. So I'm going to copy this. Now within this particular place, I want to paste that in there. And I'm going to just do dot get item. And we're going to just throw in our team in here and introduce a comma, and not really introduce a comma, guys. So what I want to do right here is that I want to just make sure that I check if that is actually equal to, this is exactly equal to dark mode. So this is going to be dark. And what you basically want to do, you want to make sure that you kind of add the dark mode class to its container in there. And to do that is really very simple. I'm going to just do body dot, and this is going to be class list. And then within this, we're going to just do dot add, and we want to just basically add the dark mode. So this is going to be dark dash mode, which is the class that we have already created. All right. So and then after that, get down here, we're going to just go ahead and then toggle the stuff. We're going to just do toggle dot check, and this is just basically going to be set that to true, and then we can terminate this line. All right. So we have that right there. So if we go back to this place and the refresh, and nothing is really actually happening. I think we haven't actually connected our JS so far. So if you scroll down a little bit, you see that we haven't actually connected to our JS. So we want to do that right here. So I'm going to just do script, and this is going to be src, and we'll set that to be equal to, and we want to make sure that it gets to this particular file called a script. So I'm going to just do script right here, and it's actually .js. So make sure that we'll do that, and we can close our script right here, and that should just be able to do that. So if we save the changes, and then we'll go back to our browser right here, refresh, and when we hit in here and nothing is actually happening. So we need to, I want to add a style first of all within our CSS. So if we go to our CSS right here, I want to basically add this particular style right here. So this is just going to apply to the body. So it's called body.dark mode, and I'm just basically setting this as the background. So if you want to use any other type of background, you can actually do that. But if we save changes right here, this is just basically how it's gonna like interact with the CSS to bring in the dark mode. So if we go back to I don't think there's anything else we need to do right here, and everything should just basically be okay by now. All right, all is okay. So if we go back to our browser right now, so let's open up our browser, and we want to refresh this page first of all. Once it's refreshed and we can hit on this, you see that it turns to dark, and if you hit that again, it goes back to this light mode. Right, so that's just basically how that is actually working right now. And this is the former one that we had, so we can just toggle it anyhow that we want. So I want to close the former one and let it be that this is the only one that we do have right here. So if we toggle this, all right, so I think that's just basically all we need to do. And if we refresh, it should still be saved. All right, except when you close the browser down and then reopen that again, that's when it should just basically go back to the former one. All right, guys, so thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, go ahead and drop that in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.